You're being watched.
It's really happening. Oh my. Wait, you're here. Officer down. Hit him.
Hosted by Sean Sticks Larkin.
You know you're on camera, right?
Welcome to Crime Cam 24/7. Everyday people stepping in to help stop a crime is something I truly respect and appreciate. These are folks who risk their own safety and even their own lives to help complete strangers. These are true heroes. And if you ever had any doubts about that, this next piece of footage will definitely blow them away.
New Orleans, Louisiana. Friday, November 20th, 2015, 4 a.m.
A surveillance camera in the Lower Garden District of New Orleans captures a man wearing a hooded sweatshirt dragging an incapacitated woman down the sidewalk. Seconds later, a passing car pulls up and a man holding a mobile phone gets out to investigate the troubling scene just off camera. And in an instant, he becomes a potential victim himself. A streetlight mounted camera captures a horrifying turn of events. The man in the hooded sweatshirt is now holding this Good Samaritan at gunpoint, while the incapacitated woman lies on the sidewalk outside a waiting SUV. The Good Samaritan pleads with the gunman, arms raised in surrender. Seconds later, the gunman shoots the man in the midsection. As the man falls to the ground in pain, the shooter racks his weapon, checks his surroundings, points the gun at the man's head, and takes aim. The gun jams before the suspect can deliver a bullet to the victim's head. The gunman tries twice more to shoot the man in the head, but the weapon fails to fire, sparing the victim from almost certain death. The suspect finally gives up and flees the scene in the SUV, leaving the young man and the woman on the sidewalk. Both victims were transported by ambulance to the hospital and survived their injuries. Armed with a license plate number captured by surveillance, New Orleans police initiated a manhunt for 21-year-old Uric Kane. U.S. Marshals arrested Kane 3 days later after a heinous crime spree that included the gunpoint rape and robbery of a couple the day after this shooting was caught on camera. The man who survived the gunshot to the abdomen was Dr. Peter Gold, a Tulane University medical school graduate. He underwent 2 surgeries to repair his spleen and intestines. Kane was sentenced to 54 years in prison for the attempted murder of Gold and more than 15 other offenses from his 2-day crime spree, including second-degree rape, armed robbery, carjacking, and kidnapping.
Greene, Ohio. Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021, 10 a.m.
Ohio State Highway Patrol units are joining a high-speed chase in progress. Deputies in Summit County were investigating a report of a man breaking into cars in the town of Greene, Ohio, when this motorhome fled from the scene at a high rate of speed. As the RV approaches a busy shopping center, officers up ahead of the chase deploy spike strips to puncture the tires and disable the fleeing vehicle. The spike strips puncture 3 of the motorhome's 6 tires. This patrol unit makes a quick move to dodge the same spikes. Riding on 3 punctured tires, the motorhome continues eluding police through heavy midday traffic.
1887.
The driver then makes a left turn onto Interstate 77. As the driver gets onto the interstate, pursuing patrol vehicles dodge pieces of debris and tires from the damaged motorhome. The condition of the motorhome is deteriorating quickly, and traveling with the living area slide room out, the RV can no longer flee police at high speed.
He's on rims, starting to smoke.
With nowhere to escape on the interstate, the motorhome exits the highway and continues on the main roads of Akron,
How many active tires does he have?
where things get tight.
Left side is completely flat. Jamie just struck a semi.
Moments later, the damaged motorhome drives directly into the path of oncoming traffic, dodging innocent drivers in the process.
All right, he's slowing down quite a bit here. Speed's down to 30.
What you're seeing here is the view from the dash cam of the police unit ahead of the motorhome. This unit is attempting to keep traffic clear up ahead of the chase. The vehicles now enter a rural part of the county.
Well, you be advised if he takes off on foot, I'm sending a 47, so remain inside your vehicle.
The lead officer chooses to turn left at a fork in the road. But the suspect stays in the right-hand lane and takes off. The RV now takes the chase into an even more dangerous area, the narrow streets of a suburban subdivision.
Okay. You're ready.
Quickly running out of options, the driver takes the RV off-road.
Here, so stay in your cars. We can use lift, get the dog ready. He's going to get stuck here.
Still riding on just 3 tires, the motorhome manages to cut through a backyard, between 2 homes, and back out onto a street. Just down the road, the RV smashes into a pickup truck waiting at a stop sign and slips past police once again.
We need to bring this to an end.
Open 24, can you pair them?
The ranking trooper in charge throws a Hail Mary, ramming the vehicle, hoping to stop the rolling demolition machine. His first attempt rips the fiberglass off the back of the RV. A second hit forces the driver of the motorhome off the road.
Really cool, so. Be ready. Right here's something. He's not going to barely left.
And into the backyard between these 2 homes.
Be cool, so. Be ready.
Now stuck in the grass, out of sight of the dash cam, the suspect takes off on foot.
Send that dog, send that dog.
After a brief foot chase, the suspect is apprehended. State police arrested 24-year-old Randy Schiffbauer. He was charged with 7 felony counts, including robbery, aggravated assault, and receiving stolen property. Schiffbauer had done prison time just 2 years prior to this chase for going on a rampage in a stolen bulldozer in Akron and attempting to knock down this house. He was sentenced to 7 to 9.5 years in prison for the RV theft and failure to comply with an order of a police officer.
Prepare for more feeds.
Typically, armed guards are only used for businesses dealing in high-value assets such as banks and jewelry stores. But for most other places of business and government agencies, unarmed guards provide security. In this next story, an unarmed guard is outgunned, but that doesn't stop him from getting the job done.
Buffalo, New York. Thursday, November 10th, 2022, 9:53 a.m.
Inside the reception area of the Hispanics United Methadone Clinic in Buffalo, a surveillance camera captures a rifle-toting man entering the building. Staff behind the counter don't seem to notice the gunman, and security guard Ronaldo Beckford is frozen by the scene. In an instant, the man fires a round into the wall. The unarmed Beckford makes a move for the interior entrance to the clinic, but the door is locked. Meanwhile, staff behind the counter take cover. With no possibility of flight, Beckford's fight instincts kick in. He rushes the gunman. As the men struggle for control of the weapon, 2 more rounds discharge into the glass door. Beckford holds the gunman against a stairwell door and at the same time pins the weapon against his chest. Seconds later, Beckford muscles the armed man out the front door just as another security guard emerges from the stairwell. Beckford forces the gunman to the ground and the security guard joins the fight. Outside the clinic, an exterior surveillance camera picks up the fight at the front door, where a third man jumps in to help subdue the gunman. After several seconds, the 3 men are able to pull the gunman from the doorway and pin him to the ground. Yet another pedestrian rushes into the scene and finally rips the weapon from the gunman's grip. This mobile phone camera footage taken by a bystander captures the heroic, unarmed security guards holding the gunman down as an officer arrives on scene.
Get that gun! Yo, man, you let go 3 shots. 3 shots. Back up.
Buffalo police identified the gunman as 48-year-old Jeremy Griffin. An hour before entering the clinic, Griffin shot a woman in the leg during a botched robbery. Officers reported that both attempted robberies were motivated by Griffin's drug use. He was charged with attempted robbery, criminal possession of a weapon, and reckless endangerment in both incidents. His case is currently pending trial. The everyday traffic stop. You see them all the time on the side of the road. And while they're common, they're also a very dangerous part of police work for one simple reason. They're completely unpredictable, as you're about to see.
Willoughby, Ohio. Saturday, September 10th, 2022, 4:24 p.m.
Patrol Officer Stacy Wright is initiating a routine traffic stop for a speeding driver seen here.
Day 12 radio traffic stop.
The driver complies and pulls over with no resistance. Officer Wright approaches the vehicle on the passenger side and informs the driver of the reason for the stop.
Hello. I'm Officer Wright with Willoughby Police Department. The reason why I'm stopping you is speed. 57 and a 35. Do you have your driver's license, proof of insurance?
License and proof of insurance, a standard request for a typical traffic stop. But the driver of the vehicle immediately gets out of the car, putting Officer Wright on edge.
Why are you getting out of the car, sir?
I don't get my driver's license.
12 radio, this male just stepped out of the vehicle.
Wright asks the man to step to the curb for his own safety.
You step over here now. Have a seat on the ground. Have a seat.
The driver quickly becomes aggressive with Officer Wright and refuses to comply with her orders.
I'm not sitting. I'm not sitting!
Back up.
Wright reaches for the man's arm to detain him, but he shoves the officer.
Back up.
I'm not sitting, motherfucker!
We're getting physical.
Officer Wright makes it clear that the man is now being detained.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm not...
I will tase you, sir. Touch the vehicle. Put your hands on the fucking vehicle now!
The man continues to resist, and Wright attempts to get him under control. As Officer Wright tussles with the man, gear from her duty belt is knocked to the ground. The driver strikes Wright as he fights to free himself. Traffic slows to a crawl as onlookers watch the violent struggle unfold. Seconds later, a bystander appears on the dash cam. The Good Samaritan bear hugs the driver and pulls him to the ground as Wright calls in for backup.
Radio, send me units. Roll over on your stomach, now!
Officer Wright and the bystander struggle to control the agitated driver, while another onlooker joins the fray. Another man and a woman join in to help subdue the driver, just as Wright's backup arrives on scene.
Get your arm behind you.
Get your back. Hey, get your cuffs. Get your cuffs. Get your cuffs.
The other officer places the man in handcuffs, and the woman who joined to assist has some choice words.
You don't do that to a woman. Do you understand me?
The man is taken into custody without further incident,
Walk back to my car.
and an onlooker cheers the officers. The driver was identified as 64-year-old David Kubek. In addition to the speeding ticket, he was charged with felony assault on a police officer and resisting arrest. Kubek is awaiting trial.
Prepare for next feed.
In the video you're about to see, a man in a black sedan during rush hour traffic nearly ran an 18-year-old driver off the road. Tempers flared between the two drivers. The teen then made the wise decision to turn on his dash camera to capture what happened next.
Gwinnett County, Georgia. Thursday, June 6th, 2019, 4:33 p.m.
The teen driver of this truck is following traffic in the right lane when the car that just moments earlier ran him off the road cuts him off from the shoulder, causing the vehicles to bump into each other. After putting the car in park, the other driver whips his door open and begins screaming at the teen as he makes a beeline for the driver's side window. As cars on the busy highway drive around them, the teen claims that the man struck him in the face, then grabbed his keys from the ignition. As he walks back to his car, he continues to taunt the victim, swinging the stolen keychain in the air. But as the attacker gets in his car, the teen runs up on him with a baseball bat. Rather than using it, he goes for a punch and ends up in a hand fight with his attacker. As the car creeps forward, the man inside grabs the teen around the neck, then hits the gas. The teen is able to keep his feet running alongside the car, but as the driver continues to accelerate, he picks up his feet and goes along for the ride. The car disappears out of sight, reportedly traveling at 40 miles per hour. According to reports, the driver eventually slowed down a half mile up the road and pushed the teen from the car before speeding off. Surprisingly, the 18-year-old victim was not seriously injured. From the dashcam video, police identified the assailant as 34-year-old Emmett Grubbs. He was arrested and charged with crimes including aggravated assault, robbery, and hit and run. Grubbs is currently awaiting trial.
Have you captured a crime on camera? Please send your videos and tips to crimecam247@lawnews.com. Prepare for next feed.
When it comes to pharmacy robberies, there are typically two types of suspects. There's pill addicts looking to supply their habit, or criminal street gangs looking to sell the stolen prescriptions on the streets. Then there's the man in this next surveillance video who tried robbing the wrong pharmacy and the wrong pharmacist.
Bradenton, Florida. Sunday, February 14, 2016, 12:24 p.m.
It's Valentine's Day, and customer David West is chatting up his pharmacist girlfriend working behind the counter at this Walgreens in Central Florida. As the couple discuss their dinner date plans, a masked man enters the waiting area. The towel-wearing bandit hops onto the counter and immediately reaches into the pocket of his sweatshirt. Despite the threats, West doesn't hesitate to step up and deal with the situation. The man realizes his plot is foiled, removes his empty hand from his pocket, and squares up against West. This is the man's second poor decision of the day. David West is a two-time Florida Police Athletic League boxing champ. West pulls the bandit's sweatshirt over his head, then throws a huge right cross that just misses. While the outmatched criminal fights for his life, the pharmacist picks up her phone, leans in for a closer look, and dials 911. A now shirtless robber eats several uppercuts before getting knocked out cold off camera. His fall knocks over a stack of shopping baskets. Police arrive several minutes later and take the suspect into custody. The man is identified as 28-year-old Andrew Nemeth. Nemeth pleads no contest to attempt a robbery while wearing a mask and is sentenced to 14 months in the Florida Department of Corrections. I'm Sean Sticks Larkin, and I'll see you next time for more of Crime Cam 24/7.